It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about Picard, Season 1, Episode 9. Yes, Chicago is under a shelter-in-place order, and so that's we're here. But you know what? We're still bringing you the goods. That's how dedicated we are to this channel.
Dedicated slash crazy.
Crazy. Stir crazy from sitting inside all the time.
Yes, exactly.
So we might as well do this. So the title of episode 9 is Et in Arcadia Ego, Part 1. I looked this up because that's what I do. Et in Arcadia Ego is the title of a painting in the Louvre. And it basically is translated as, even in Arcadia, there am I. The painting itself is of like a little pastoral scene in Arcadia, little shepherds.
Yes.
But the shepherds are sitting around this big, imposing tomb. And the interpretation is, hey, even in this beautiful setting of Arcadia, death is still there.
Yes.
So it's got a very kind of ominous sound to it. Plus, you put that in line with the tragic sense of life that our friend Rios has been reading the whole time. Death's on the way to this, this kind of pastoral wonderland filled with synths.
Yes.
So this is the first.
Really, an instructive painting.
Yeah, uplifting as well. You really feel inspired.
Yeah.
There's no avoiding death. Yay!
No. Yay!
Yay!
Carry on with your lives.
Right, for now. This is the first episode where well, maybe it's not the first. I think it's the first episode where we don't have a flashback. It picks up right where episode 8 left off, as our heroes on the La Serena go through the Borg highway. The Borg slip and slide. And they arrive at the planet we now know as Coppelius. They traveled 25 light years in 15 minutes, I think is what Picard says.
Yes.
It is the planet of synths. Soon after they arrive, of course, Narek has followed them through the slip and slide and starts attacking them. There's a bit of a little fight going on when suddenly, boom, Borg ship arrives, which I predicted would happen last episode. I didn't think it would happen quite so quickly and quite so anticlimactically, but
yes,
it shows up to save the day against a single Borg ship. Like, okay, a little overkill, but all of them are wiped out and brought down to the planet's surface by these giant orchids that are defending the planet.
Yes.
The orchids obviously are a theme.
What did you think of the giant orchids, sir?
Well, I mean, they're keeping the theme going, right? Obviously, Daj talks about, my dad named us for different orchids, and we had these hybrid orchids he worked on. And when she has her dream, she sees these orchids.
Yes,
the actual.
Yes. So the question becomes, what came first? And the writers think, when they come, wouldn't it be great if a bunch of flowers came up? Wait a minute. Let's make their names flowers.
Space flowers. I suppose the image looked interesting of them flying into a giant flower. The logistics of it seem like, okay. We do learn later that
somebody was like, how should we protect ourselves? Should we make a bunch of lasers or blast cannons or something? Wait a minute, whoa. Flowers.
Or flying robots? I don't know, but flowers. Flowers, damn it.
There's a point where they say, okay, a bunch of ships are coming. What defenses do you have? We have those flowers.
And actually, that's a good point. Who created the flowers? Was it Maddox? It sounds like Maddox came later. Like, he arrived at a place that was already created. So I don't think it was Maddox.
Yeah, no. Presumably, he got inspired by the flowers to make
good point.
All these synths, right?
Yeah.
Because he thought about how the flowers are created or whatever. And then he was like, this flower stuff is working for me. So maybe he was like, I'll make the defenses of the planet.
I'm really gonna dedicate myself to this theme. I don't care. Do it.
I mean, because really it's underlining the point that they're all just a bunch of hippies. I mean, they're walking around barefoot. With
it is like a commune. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a commune there, which is very original Star Trek.
Oh, good point.
They just like seeing all those hippies walking around. They're like, hey, we should put the hippies.
The guys with
in
the giant
show.
misshapen ears from the first original series.
You got to put a picture of him in there.
Okay. What we find out from later is that they had 15 of these orchid things, and now they've got 10.
Yes.
They used 5 of them to take out the 3 ships that were attacking.
Yeah.
And so they seem to just their weapon is. It's effective, I guess. It just takes out all the power in the ship and brings it down. Crashes them to the planet.
Yeah, does all of them, right? Yeah, brings all of them down to the planet.
Right. Narek gets captured and imprisoned. The La Serena folks...
We don't see that yet, right?
Correct. We see it later, but yeah, that's the arc of him at the moment. The La Serena, they decide to go check out the artifact, the cube, to see if Elnor's still around. He obviously is. 7 of 9 is there. They have a little greeting. In the meantime, Picard has an episode, and Agnes discovers she has to use an old tricorder because the power's not working. Little Easter egg there. But she's like, well, maybe these old tricorders suck, but looks like you're dying.
And really, that's telling you, right, that they're going to wrap that or deal with that next episode.
Yep.
Otherwise, there's no reason to mention it. There's no reason at all. And he could have, even if they wanted for some reason, just to let Agnes know that he had a problem, he could then say, yeah, okay, let's keep this between us. But no, he's going to go and confess to the whole crew.
Yeah, in fact, they had a series of goodbyes. He says goodbye to Raffi. He says goodbye to Elnor and 7 of 9. I think he has another couple of goodbyes. It's one of these things where, I mean, he's still on the planet. They're still working. So, like, for instance, with Raffi, he's like, all right, Raffi, you go see what the Romulans are up to. Okay, goodbye. And then he walks off. But you could easily see, like, later that day, hey, Raffi, what's going on? How's that progress? Yeah. Like, oh, this is awkward. We have to say goodbye again. Okay. I mean, goodbye. So he's saying goodbye to people that he's working with. That's all. It's like they're still in contact with him. But it does feel very final. They're making it out to be like, uh-oh. So long, Picard. The crew, as I say, they say goodbye to Elnor. It's a little weird to say goodbye to him. Like, I feel bad for Elnor. Like, he's kind of a part of the crew, but they picked him up on a planet. They immediately went to a board cube. He stayed. Of his own volition, but he stayed. They had adventures without him. Now he shows up, kind of saves the day again, and they're like, great, you stay with the artifact, we're leaving again. And so, like, he's never with them. Like, it's like, he's the guy that watches them leave. I think the reason they did it this way...
It's been many days since I see it, but I feel like it was his instinct to stay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is his instinct. Like, oh, they need me. Oh, ooh.
Well, I think the reason, like, plot-wise, they kind of had to write him into staying on the cube was, at the time, at the end, when they arrest Picard... Yes. They would,
They want him to be free.
Ching, 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 and he kills all the synths, and they're like, oh, well, we just solved the problem. Anyway, so yes, Elnor and 7 of 9 are staying behind. Tearful goodbyes all around.
Yes.
And Picard, they show up in the town, the commune of synths.
Yes.
They recognize Soji. Soji has memories of this place, and they recognize Picard because of Data. And so they're like, oh, Captain Picard. And we see Brent Spiner return.
We do.
But not as Data, not as Lore, but as Dr. Sung's son.
Yes.
I think his name is Alton. I could be wrong on that.
He might be.
We'll call him Sung Jr. Anyway, Sung Jr. shows up, and he immediately introduces himself as like a mad scientist.
Yes.
And it becomes he becomes more creepy as we go along. Like at first he's like, ha, I'm just a nice guy. And then it's like, I'm working on mind transference, and I'll arrest you, Picard. And you're like, oh, he's gotten creepy all of a sudden. So I don't know. I mean, how do you see? I think Sutra is our main villain at the moment.
Yes.
But
I don't know why they didn't name Jenna Kama.
Yeah, I know. Like tick tick tick. No, it's like Jana. Okay.
Jana, yeah.
So yes, Jana died. She was the one that Rios.
Maybe the brother was named Kama. They didn't mention.
Good point. We didn't see the yeah.
Oh, that lovely flower. Which, come on, that's a name.
Right.
Beautiful.
It's such a weird juxtaposition. Be like, you, I will name Jana. You, precious flower, or whatever.
This guy, he's like possessed. He just can't stop talking about flowers.
How do I work the orchid theme into this? Damn it. Okay.
The character's name is Alton Inigo Sum.
All right, there you go. Inigo Montoya, you killed my father. Prepare to die. So everything seems okay at the moment, right? When they're like, "Hey, I'm Sung's son. Great to see you guys. Enjoy the place." Soji gives the bad news. Hey, by the way, it's my fault. I feel like it's my fault. I have led Romulans to us. Rafi has used the Borg cube to figure out that there's over 200 Romulan ships on the way. They're going to arrive in 2 days.
Yes.
So it's like, oh no, what do we do? Sung Jr. is quick to point out that it's not Soji's fault because she didn't know what she didn't know, and it's Maddox's fault. He's blaming Maddox. And Sutra, who is this gold lame looking version of Soji. I don't know. Okay, whatever.
Presumably she's older.
Right, gotta be. Like,
it's like, you know what? I like it better this way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If she was an update, it'd be like, okay, you're getting farther away from humanity, but okay.
It's like, the original design
actually looked really good. Looked really human. So she is like, oh, well, we have a solution here because Picard is like, hey, you know what we could do? We could put everybody on La Serena. We can hightail it out of here ahead of the Romulans. We'll hide you guys. They're like, da. Let's see if there's a plan B. And so Sutra does a mind meld with Agnes.
Yes.
And sees the vision that was implanted in Agnes. I did like this little bit, which is that the reason that the humans go insane is because the message wasn't meant for humans. It's meant for synths.
Yes.
And so it does tend to drive people mad, which also...
Does that satisfy you about the whole...
I like that. I like the thing. Although, and they're kind of excusing then why Agnes killed Maddox. Because they're like, well, you went insane. So you're fine.
Yep.
Enjoy. Sutra, takes this in, sees this message, realizes, okay, there's this alliance of synths out there somewhere. This was that group we were talking about. The ageless, always vigilant group of synths that will come in.
Rather than tell these synths that are being persecuted, hey, why don't you come and join us where we aren't being persecuted? They say, well, let us know so we can come and kill all the humans.
Right. Plus, if their message was for the synths, well, you screwed up. Because it was the organics that kept finding this message and then being more... Like, the message actually made the organics, a la Romulans, more paranoid. So it actually worked against, theoretically, what they were trying to accomplish. So, well done, almighty synths out there. I assume we're going to see the almighty synths.
Here's another egg, chicken and egg situation where it's like, after this first incident, does every other time that it's come up, is it because the biological people have become crazy and wanted to kill the synths?
That's right. Yes. Answer yes, probably. So we've got Sutra, it seems, convinced that she wants to, send this beacon out and warn the almighty synths to come and destroy everybody. Yeah. Soji is debating that idea. You could see she's like thinking about it, like, well, She even talks to Picard about, like, what's the logic of sacrifice and da-da-da-da-da. And I think she's thinking about sacrificing humans for the good of synth world. I think there was maybe multiple versions of what she was asking, but I think one of the versions of things she's asking is it okay if to save the the creations that I love, what I consider my family, is it okay to call down destruction on millions and millions of people? Sure. Obviously, Picard's like, nah, that's not a good idea. But I feel like we're going to see these things, right? I mean, if we didn't, it would be very anticlimactic to be like, oh, nah, they're still out there, but we'll never see them. So I feel like Sutra's going to get her way. She'll convince Soji, and then at some point, Soji will make the decision to stop it. But it'll be like oh God, they're already partially here. We have to, whatever, that kind of thing.
Right.
Meanwhile, Narek was imprisoned. He has a conversation with Soji. She arrives just as he's about to escape. He's trying to work his way into conning his way out of prison.
Yeah.
Then Sutra has a conversation with him, and it's implied strongly that Sutra frees him and kills a synth to frame Narek. So her point will be, look, the humans or the Romulans already killed one of our own and escaped. They're terrible. Let's bring down hell upon them. I think is the idea.
Let's kill the Romulans and the humans. They're all the same.
They're all the same. So what do we see for Narek? It seems like they're going to try to put him into a positive role, if I had to guess, in this last episode. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, because he's even then trying to, I love you.
Right.
I'm...
Right. And then Soji's like, I should have killed him.
Yes, he is.
So he's running off. I assume he's either running to his ship or running to the cube. Anyway, somehow...
Yeah, presumably he's running to his ship. He probably, there's some radio that he could use to call the Romulans that are coming. And,
right.
So go a little more to the left with your, with your destruction.
Yeah, so is he going to call them off? Is that the idea? Or it doesn't seem like he would. Based on what we know, he wouldn't. But then
really trying to figure out how it resolves, not just the next thing?
Yeah, I'm just thinking I feel like they're trying to put him into a role of, my feelings for Soji are legit, and therefore I'm going to do something to help the situation as opposed to just be the villain that my sister is. I'm thinking, right? But I don't know, I think somehow he keeps the Romulans at bay. Soji is going to be keeping almighty synths at bay. Might be the way this works. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I will say this. The plan of Picard's to be like, hey, everybody get on La Sirena and we'll just go hide again, and I'll talk on your behalf.
Yeah.
Isn't
not a great plan.
Isn't a very good plan. I wouldn't buy it.
Well, I mean, yes.
Sung Jr. brings up the point. He's like, you talked to them before and they didn't listen to you. Why? Right. What's different?
Well, one thing that I would think perhaps you could argue, if we can just get back, maybe if we can figure out in the Borg slip and slide to get back to, I don't know, Federation space instead of being in Romulan space, maybe they wouldn't want to get a war with the Federation, and Federation wouldn't treat you great, but they probably would be better than the Romulans. That's true.
We see that there's a little bit of deviousness with the Federation in the moment, but you're right. I mean, ultimately, it seems like that would be a better solution.
And it's like if they got that Borg superhighway.
Yep.
Doesn't some of it lead to where the Borgs are? Okay, I guess I wouldn't want to go there.
Right. I mean, we could be seeing, the super synths are, Borg plus coming. But those are the main beats, right? So, any other thoughts you've got on this episode? Generally.
I mean, one thing, was I was glad that Soong was there to like say you're nuts, Picard. They're not going to listen to you.
Right.
They listened to you before.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about this mind transference thing.
Oh, sure.
So Soong comes up and says,
"Do you think it's going to be successful?"
I'm just what I immediately thought was, is this the way that they make Picard okay?
I'll put Picard into the.
But it feels weird because
body.
then it wouldn't be Patrick Stewart anymore. So it'd be like, oh, we saved Picard, the character, but Patrick Stewart, we don't have him anymore. Which seems weird.
Well, if they were somehow able to make
it look like him.
Yeah. Then he could have a synth body, which would be interesting. It'd be like, boy, I still can't move around that good, but now I've got a new body.
Yeah. It just made me think, okay, you've got a major character.
It would give him some stakes in the the new group that they found, that in theory they should be, it's first contact, like he said. He was saying that
he calls out and say first contact, yeah.
Yep. So, and in a way though, it should have been like, we already have Data. That's first contact. And
that's a good point.
It's like the making of more. It's like, we're stopping you from having more of yourself. Even though it's like, okay, well, Data's dead, and there's, a creature that, because he's not as smart as Data, we don't actually consider him, was it lore or whatever.
Yeah, but you're right. Good point that it's kind of first contact, but not really. Yeah, you're right. But, the idea of that, you've got a major character who is critically ill, and everyone's saying goodbye to him, hence he's on death's door. And then you've got this, in this episode, introduced, hey, a way to make yourself immortal, essentially. Or, like, because Sung even says, well, I've been more focused on this with, my own problems. He's basically saying, I know that I'm dying, and so I want to make this thing so I can jump into it.
Sure.
So it just feels like you've got the tech, you've got the guy who needs it. Dink! Picard, season 2. So I'm guessing that might be where that's going. I don't think Sung Jr. is going to jump into it, be so. Anyway, that's just sitting there. I don't know what that is. It made me think also of Westworld, right? Putting your consciousness into
it does.
Like a cyborg body.
It's hard to see that it doesn't go that way, right? Because otherwise. One thing that people, I guess someone has said that they've seen, your original thought was that Q would come and save him.
Yep.
And I feel like I've seen a report that someone actually does feel like Q is coming.
Okay.
This season, so, maybe that is what saves the day, and Sung does go into his body.
Just a little tink.
But it does seem to make more sense for Picard to go into the body, and that's how he avoids,
But you're right. Another thought, though, is you're right, is like, if they keep Patrick Stewart, which they would, then you're like, all right, jump back into a decaying 80-year-old body. Perfect. So we'll figure out how that works.
Like, hey, we made this new body decaying and old.
Yeah.
But without the brain thing. So
well, they did that
slow.
They did that bit at the beginning where they one of the robots, I think it's Arcadia, she comes up and she's touching the wrinkles on Picard's face.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, wrinkles, they say so much. We don't have these, or whatever. I don't know. I'm like, you all have some degree of wrinkles. Even her face has wrinkles on it. I don't know. It was just no, we're wrinkleless.
Our eyes only can see real big wrinkles.
Yeah. We use Botox all the time. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how they resolve that. But that's obviously a huge plot point they just stuck in there.
Yes.
By the way, they could put somebody's mind into a new body. All right, moving on. Wait, what was that? Agnes wants to study that. It seems like, so most of the crew are now on the bad side with the synths, right? Put Picard in jail, blah, 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 blah. But Agnes has done hey, I'd love to study under you, and Sung...
Right.
So I feel like she's going to do her...
And Sung's like, I need her help. She's smart.
Yeah, and she's going to maybe play that to Picard and the crew's advantage.
Sure.
I don't think she's technically against them at this point, so she's going to be like, oh, no, I'm on your side. Spy, 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 spy. Click button.
Agnes spy?
Yeah, maybe she lets them out, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I'll note this. This relates back to a couple episodes ago. Not only does soccer exist in the future, it also now exists on the planet of synths. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, Rios is like kicking this little wicker-looking ball thing.
Oh, was he? I didn't notice.
You should have. He also puts a soccer ball in this pack. But I also think it's a different soccer ball than the one he was playing with episodes earlier. So that means he's got at least 2 soccer balls on the ship. So
at least 2 soccer balls in the future.
Yep, soccer is safe and sound, baby. Woo woo! Best part of the show. All right, anyway. Yeah. So we've got a situation. They did not go to the space station. They were going to drop off Agnes and I think also meet up with the fleet of ships. So that didn't happen. However, Picard did send out hey, we made first contact.
Right.
So I still feel like there's a fleet of Starfleet ships coming, probably. So you will have Romulans, Federation, a Borg cube that is currently inoperative, and then almighty synths and 10 orchids. So that's a lot of CGI. Got to draw that in. Fighting in space.
What did you think of this episode?
I mean, it is part 1, right? So it does, even in the title, it's like part 1, meaning it really need to watch the second half of this to make it work. I wasn't a big fan of Sutra, frankly. I'm like,
Oh, really? I was fine with her. I mean, because I liked how she's like not over the top evil.
Okay.
She's more subtly evil. She's like, for one, she can be considerate when she's like dealing with Agnes. Far more considerate than O was. Like, oh hey, I'm about to do this. Are you sure you're okay?
Sure.
She was being very sensitive as to that. And she was very logical. She wasn't didn't seem like she was disgusted when she was talking to Narek about him.
I guess it's the look. I guess I feel like she should be more advanced than Soji, and the fact that she looks more like an android throws me off. But
I think partly they're just trying to help the audience.
Yeah. Good point.
And help the actress, right? I mean, she's like she's got to play the part differently, and she's not playing against herself.
I still feel like Rios. I'm mad at him early. I'm still fairly confident. He's only got 1 episode left, but I feel like Rios, this is this planet of death, right? We got this Arcadia. Death still exists.
Oh, and his death, talking of death?
His whole tragic sense.
Well, here's the thing. Even if they kill him, they can still have him on the ship.
Right, exactly. So he'll still be around as a hologram. But I think that's the future of our Rios. Yeah.
It could be.
Anyway,
would Agnes still have a relationship with him?
Ooh, maybe.
Let's do a little matchmaking. Which one is she more liking, the engineer or the navigator?
That's true.
Or
they have different personalities. She's like, I like the leprechaun Irish one. You maybe. We'll see how that works. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at the moment. And 1 episode left. We will cover that. We're also going to be...
One thing I wanted to mention, though, I did not like how that Borg ship was able to crash into the planet, and everybody just seemed to be fine.
True. Also, the fact that it only took a couple of those orchid flowers to take it down. With the Serena, it swallowed the Serena. It certainly wasn't going to swallow a Borg ship. So it kind of you saw one of the orchids hanging onto the corner. You're like, that's all it took. It was like,
and you could drive it away, shake it off,
push, turn, start spinning it. I don't know. But yeah, the Borg ship went down a little easy. We'll say that. I mean, they should. And
I don't have a problem with how easy it went down. Just after it went down.
Yeah. The amount of destruction you're saying it would cause,
and the amount of them being hurt or bothered, but no, they just walk into a building. How are you guys doing? Oh, we're all right.
I got that. Also, though, if indeed those orchids can take out a Borg ship with just a couple of them, and they say, "Oh, we can make more. We just can't make them in 2 days."
Yes.
Dude, crank those things out. I mean, honestly, those things would be incredibly useful for all kinds of defense. You just throw them up we could take out a Borg ship easy. Oh, there's a Borg coming? That's fine. Send some flowers. Let's send a tulip. We'll send a chrysanthemum.
Yeah, I think you have a greater amount of faith in these flowers than I I feel like
I have faith in the flowers, Paul.
Defenses.
Listen to what the flower people say.
All right. At this point, you say, ah.
So.
Oh, nice pot over there.
So Picard finds a way to live. Humanity is not destroyed. Soji makes the right choice in the end. Narek, I think, probably still dies. Probably sacrifices himself in some ways to stop his sister, who also dies.
Sure.
And I guess I'm still saying Rios is doomed.
Wow,
but
you maddened a lot of people there.
I know, that's a lot of people for one episode. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
But in any case, those are fine. That's my group.
Okay, all right.
So
Wow,
we'll be back for that. We'll also be talking Westworld.
Very Macbeth kind of, end that you're predicting there.
Turn around.
A Macbeth.
I Macbethed them. So yes, we'll be back doing that. Probably from our homes, our domiciles. We've got the system set up now. This is perfect. Look how perfectly we did this. Sarcasm. So we'll be doing this again, and come on back for that. Thanks, everybody. Paul, it's been a pleasure as always.
Oh, yes.
Indeed. So, bye, everybody.
Bye.